What happens when a man is impacted by a negative mom, and when his mind is so impacted, he's not able to get the outcomes that he wants in relationships with women and also the respect that he demands from men? In this show, we're going to examine how toxic mothers actually cause their sons to be arrested in their development, and how toxic moms often are a manifestation of a denatured flower. Feminine women are not denatured, but feminine women are very mature and kind. But when a man hears negative innuations or negative words from his mother, that toxicity turns to darkness on his mind, just like darkness tends to happen with people that are not getting the perfect love and care. I want you guys to enjoy this show by my dear friend Sorrel Babe with Pillow Talk. And we're going to examine in this short clip how being around toxic mothers actually impact the long-term sustainability of a man and what he needs to do to get the outcomes that's needed to help him circumnavigate those negative challenges, and also what the implications are long-term if he does not do the work necessary to see the struggle within. Enjoy this show with Sorrel Babe and Toxic Moms. Be well. Fire for your mind. The kosher clinician.
We from the old school. Don't let them rope you. You running things, they in your lane, wishing to smoke you. We from the old school. Don't let them rope you. You running things, they in your lane, wishing to smoke you.
Connected à la Saki mouriza veia yo. Connected à la Saki mouriza veia yo.
Well, listen, Frederick Douglass said it better than me. Frederick said it's easier to build children than to repair broken men. And a lot of the children that are now men are actually broken, and they're still in one of their psychosocial stages of development, and they have not more or less grown into manhood. They were born males, and some of them, their development is still arrested due to the trauma that the mothers have went through, and sometimes unconsciously and consciously, she impacts that trauma to her sons, which in essence create the men that she actually hate for the women that they tend to marry. So it's a very negative and a very dangerous cycle, almost what I call a karmic cycle. Like in Hinduism, they call it karmic, where you're constantly going over and over and over again to reach perfection, but you never become perfect because there's a lot of damage in that cyclical thinking for the most part. And some of it is classic projection. Some of it is displaced aggression. Some of it is scapegoating. But what I've seen the most a lot of time is displaced aggression, because sometimes those boys tend to look like the men that they were married to in the past. And a lot of times those women displace their aggression towards their sons due to the failed relationship from the men that they dealt with in the past. And it causes that boy to become frustrated because he starts to question his self-worth. And he tends to marry the women that are similar to his mother, which is actually a broken woman. And so you continue to have that cycle of deprivation in the black community, where toxic and broken men get with toxic and broken, angry women. But the epigenesis of it starts in the home and in the family. With over, I believe, 71% of our children, I think North America and the United States, black kids, over 71% born in single parent homes. You see something that has become a pandemic in the black community to the point, I don't know when it would be in a state of repair again, because it's becoming precipitous and it doesn't appear to be slowing down at any time.
Therapy. But if she's already toxic and she is also broken, there's no way she can provide help for the son. So they're sort of trapped in that cycle, and they begin to think it is okay. And I think that culturally also, when we look at the culture, popular black culture, it is almost as if it's being praised. Right. And I wanted to play a short clip, and I don't know, I actually tried to do a Pillow Talk episode on that. It's, right. I believe the name of the show is Miss Pat. I don't know if you're familiar with it. It's I think it's being played on BT Plus but don't quote me on that. I believe so. But I saw a clip on Instagram of Ebro from Ebro in the Morning, right? Who put this clip on as his favorite show, and the I found it interesting, the clip that he chose to express that. So I'm going to try and play it. I know there's like copyright issues, but
Sure.
I'm going to go ahead and play it. People in the chat, if you cannot hear, let me know, but it should work just fine. Let me go ahead and play that.
Oh, wow.
So there you have it. Have it.
Horrible.
So this is what is constantly being displayed on national television. This is the Black mother. This is the Black woman.
Right.
This is the child, always afraid of the mother. The father, if you look at him, can't even play. So like he has zero authority.
Zero authority. Right. Right. A simp.
So what are your thoughts on this when you see that with your background experience?
Well, the dad is definitely a simp. He's definitely a beta male based on the energy that he's exuding, because he should have checked that. And so unfortunately, Sorrel, you see some of these behaviors a lot of times in the inner cities. The loud, obnoxious, very violent mother that more or less doesn't submit to the authority of her husband, but also emasculates her son. So from that clip, I see a lot of emasculation of the husband, but also of the son. And so that young man is going to grow up in a condition, unless he's resilient, to think that's how he deserves to be treated. Many of our men, Sorrel, are not used to feminine and soft women. So when they get it, it seems very abnormal. There's a such thing called nature and nurture. And so all men by nature want a feminine woman. It's in our intrinsic hard drive. Intrinsic means within. But when they're not getting that intrinsic worth, when they do get it, it seems very foreign. And it seems foreign because they have not been socialized or conditioned to accept it. And when they do accept it, a lot of times it becomes a conniption because they're not used to kind treatment. That's why a lot of men are traveling abroad and they're going to countries to find more softer and feminine women. And that kind of violent behavior that you saw in that woman is one of the reasons why many men are suffering in silence. And I did a show on my YouTube channel called What Happens to the Rubber Band Man. And so the Rubber Band Man was a group by the Spinners back in the 70s. And so when a man continues to suffer within, he doesn't have a healthy outlet to emote. Then eventually, if it's not careful, that man will snap. And a lot of times that toxicity that these young men are actually ingesting comes from being hopeless. And I've said in the past, Sorrel, that a broken man is a hopeless man. And a hopeless man is a very dangerous man. And a man becomes dangerous when he doesn't not have the proper coping mechanisms, but also the proper safeguards within the confines of his home to emote. And so what you're seeing now, you've seen a lot of men that are either imploding from within, which turns to an explosion, or they're just suffering in silence and dealing with it, which in essence is toxic and is not healthy.
This is a banger.
We from the old school, don't let them rope you. You running things, ain't your lane, wishing you.
Je vise la maîtrise, pas ta maîtresse, sugar.